And one, and good evening, everybody. Welcome along to the Day Trippers podcast. If this is working, I am very happy. If it's not working,
then you don't know.
I'd have no idea if it's not working. But anyway, I believe we're live. I believe that it's working. I can see me on the computer screen. I'm quite happy about this now, to be totally honest. And everything seems to be working well. So anyway, good evening. Welcome along to the TT. I'm looking at the light instead of the camera. That's the best way to start. Wonderful! You can't beat that for a start. How about that one? L-I-V-E-O-P double-O-L Liverpool FC. Right, Champions League, here we come. We're going to win it. We're winning this thing. It's all done and dusted at this stage. In tonight, of course, it's the Tuesday Club. We're happy as with pigs and shite. It's Ray Dicko Dickinson.
Can't wait to go to the semi.
I have a semi.
He has a semi after beside us, unfortunately, Shawnee Lawson has blocked everyone and has run off in a huff. Hey, Shawnee. Can't block us on the internet. So we got rid of Shawnee and we brought in Paddy Lawson, his brother, instead. Say hello to Paddy Lawson.
Paddy FC.
And then, of course, beside me, I have my ever-present bequeathed, wonderfully heard. We actually did the best ever halftime analysis this evening, and you missed it off. I just forgot I didn't know what I was doing, to be quite frank. Anyway, lads, look, tonight I don't know where to start. We had this. At halftime we're a bit like going, oh, what's going to happen here? And Jesus, we rode our luck. Wasn't lucky, but at least we know that if we hang in for the next 10 minutes in that second half, we'll definitely be in a chance because they'll have to throw the kitchen sink at us. So, Ray Dicko Dickinson. Take that smile off your forehead.
There's no Kango hammer here.
There's no Kango hammer left. Talk to us, Ray. Talk to us. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm just relieved after what happened in the first half. To be honest with you, it was getting a bit worrying. Look, we were always going to have that threat, weren't we? And we had those chances just before half time, which made me feel a little bit easier that we were going to be able to get some more and capitalise at some point in the second half. But when that goal went in, there was a bit of a slow motion about it. You know, time stood still for a little bit, as Andy has said in the past with some of Salah's goals. But when he lifted that in and it it rippled the back of the net, the fucking relief was immense.
Yeah.
You know, and it took me about 5 minutes to do the sums in terms of how many goals they needed at that point because my head had just exploded.
Ran out of fingers.
Oh my God.
Did you run out of fingers, Paddy? Did you?
Never.
Paddy fingers, Lawson.
As he does. Paddy, like the last time we were here in Stoutmans, we witnessed Tottenham absolutely batter us that day, right?
Yeah, we did.
How are you feeling tonight, mate? A
lot better. I'm actually going to go to Dicey's this time and not get fucked out.
Come here, I want to do something so people can see it. Come here, wait a second. Everyone has to see your beautiful head.
Oh, Jesus.
And then we'll see a bit more. There we go. There we go. All sorted now. There we go. Paddy, what's the highlight of that second half? I think if I was to say the fun we had out of the Salah finish alone, could you better that moment of the second half?
Well, yeah, actually, I think he made a noise as he chipped the ball. He went, huh? As he just chipped the ball. No, I think the performance, I said, first half we were shaky. Van Dijk didn't have a first good half. But the second half we were a lot better. When Yaldum came off night mouth, got charged up at half time and kicked on a bit, so we looked well. We done the business.
Yeah,
got the goal, and then I think they just fell apart, and that's why we got the second one.
Yeah. It was nice though, wasn't it?
It was beautiful, beautiful.
It was ever nice to see how Pep Guardiola sitting up in the stands.
No, beautiful.
I'd love to know what was said or what happened.
Yeah,
we didn't actually really see because we were here. Someone sent a message saying he was up in the guards then for the second half. So I wonder what was said or what happened.
I think he just got sent to the stands for not having enough peps. Stephen Davey.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm great, thanks, yeah.
Yeah,
not too bad.
Good. Anything that felt so?
Good old match there, I just watched.
Was it the Roma, was it?
Yeah, it was watching the Roma game.
We get on to that.
In all seriousness, we were chatting at half time, even though it didn't go out. And I think what we said was if we got one goal, then, you know, the whole face of the tie changed, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
They fell apart once that one goal went in, and you could see it. The players, fair play to City, actually, they did keep on trying to go, but they just didn't have it in them anymore. You know, you do lose that 5% or 10% of lift that you get from. Had they gone 2-0 up, you know, the players would have had a boundless energy for the rest of the game. But thankfully, Salah got in with a little, and we were fucking off. And then Firmino pops in with a second. So
Salah reminds me of that player that Messi used to be, right? The best player in the world. But apart from that, right, but he has that quality to just play the game in slow motion.
Yeah.
Like, so everyone else is sort of falling over the shop after Mane goes down.
Absolutely,
and City players are looking to see if anything's happening.
Yeah.
And then the little fella just pops up. It's great.
It was like, literally, Mane goes down. You know, I thought it was a penalty. I was waiting for the decision to be made. And then I just kind of blurted out, it doesn't matter. Because you've seen him just about to pick it up. And like, it's got to that point now where you don't doubt he's going to put it in the back of the net. It's like it's an unreal feeling as a fan to have that. You know, you've got a player like that on the pitch who can. I'm not going to say bail you out, because like it wasn't like we were 3-0 down and we needed the goal out of complete desperation. But you know that you've got that, and for the opposition, that must be playing in the back of your mind all the time, because you know it's there constantly, and he's absolutely clinical. It's
great.
It's unbelievable.
It's great.
Yeah, it's a great.
He actually didn't even play that well tonight. Like he didn't
No,
actually do
no.
much in the first half of anything.
He looked like a player who wasn't fully fit.
No, but then at the end of the day, if you don't play him, you give them such a massive boost when they see that team before. You know, even if you've got them stashed on the bench, you know, I think that gives them an extra edge, knowing that they haven't got that threat to worry about. So even though he was fairly pedestrian at times, he was there. He was a constant threat because he's on the pitch, and that's all that matters these days with Salah.
I think it's a massive thing to look at over the two games to see Jurgen Klopp puts his most dangerous players on the pitch tonight.
Yeah.
Even though he may have been a little bit
Concerns.
sceptical of it.
Yeah.
Pep has fucked up and what?
Skeptical.
Skeptical.
That's
you say that as if like skeptical isn't even a word. Anyway, but in both games, you look at it. He's made the mistake in the first game with Gundogan instead of Sterling, right? And in this game, he leaves Aguero on the bench until 65 minutes. It's madness.
Yeah.
You know why? If Aguero could only play one of those two games, why would you play him on Saturday? And I know he didn't. He didn't start on Saturday, did he? Or did he?
No, he didn't. He come on because
on.
Obviously they were forced into that situation. Like that was a big deal. You know, the fact that they didn't sort of say go 3-0 up on Saturday and then be able to not have to call upon the likes of Aguero. Actually, I think if he didn't come on Saturday, he probably does start. But they're kind of obviously concerned about him getting re-injured and whatnot. So. Look,
this is the thing.
It's played beautifully into our hands.
Absolutely, but if they had decided, right, we go with him tonight, if he picks up another knock, it doesn't matter. We're going to win the league this weekend or the following weekend. Like, they are going to win the league.
Are we winning the league this weekend?
No. I really wish we were, Phil. But in all seriousness, they were in a position where they could have risked them tonight, and if he broke down or if he had a problem, he still could have been fine in 2 weeks or 3 weeks' time for either their first or second leg of the semis. They're gone out now. It doesn't matter.
But could Guardiola be looking to say, right, we'll give it a first half, see if we nick at him, which he nicked one goal. If they had got another one, then you bring him on and he's...
Look, I think it's to get to half time at 1-0.
Yeah.
I can't understate the importance of not conceding that second goal in the first half.
Yeah.
It was a real backs to the wall job, and we talked about it. The best defensive teams that are out there, right, ride their luck at times. Yeah. You think of Ronald Reagan when back in the day in the 80s. He wanted to build a Star Wars defensive system, right? That was never going to work. It was just a threat of being good defensively. So I'd have to think now. You have to think at this stage that we have to think of Jurgen Klopp a bit like Ronald Reagan, right? He's building a defence, even though it's not necessarily the best defence out there, but it's now becoming known as the best defence out there. You know what I mean? So genuinely, like that's where I go with it. But anyway,
no, but just on the defence, the second half of the first leg came into focus there because we did a job that we needed to do by not conceding the away goal. That away goal was massive. You know, even if we score as we did there. If City had that away goal, it wouldn't have sucked the life out of them as much as it did there.
Yeah.
Like they needed 2 goals. It became 4. 4 was a mountain for them to climb. You know, maybe if they had scored the away goal, it would have played out slightly differently. So you've got to give them credit, not just for the first half backs to the walls tonight, but also what they did at Anfield to keep that clean sheet. It was immense.
Absolutely. It's probably the one thing that we've been very critical of, and rightly so, about this team for so long. Sorry,
Thank you.
And
How did you see that yet?
see how that's professionalism right there, Paddy. You shift your seat position.
Someone said 5 centimetres. I don't know what that is.
It's about this much, I'm told. But no, it's something we've been critical of the side for a long time, and it is since Van Dijk came in.
Yeah.
I mean, his wobble aside, he's been immense. He
had a great. He had a fine second half. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's not just what he does, and everybody knows this. It's what he brings to the players around him as well. And there's a goalkeeper behind.
That's what I want to
There's a goalkeeper behind who believes in himself. If you've been listening to me live on Radio City Talk,
live on Radio City Talk.
No, but in all seriousness, with Karius, he does bring that now. He brings that air of authority, that little bit of cockiness. We were talking about it during the game. He's balling players out of it now. He's not nervy anymore. He believes in himself, and therefore he's able to let that back four and the midfield know what he expects of them.
The one thing about Karius is that we aren't afraid now when he comes for the ball. You know, when Mignolet was coming, whenever Mignolet used to come, like, what's going to happen next? You know what I mean? Will he catch it? Will he drop it? Will he miss it? What's going to go on? Whereas now, we've, like, as a fan base, I think it's fair to say we have confidence in this keeper.
Yeah, it's amazing to think. Was it the Arsenal game was just before Christmas, and we were having to witness, you know, Mignolet fucking absolute calamities.
Yeah.
You know, and it's we've only spun on a few months, and the transformation is unbelievable. Now I know Van Dijk come in at the same time, but having Karius there is just a massive difference.
It's massive, and also the two guys they showed their offensive qualities tonight. Robertson and Trent Alexander, especially Alexander, right over the course of these two games. Yeah. He has matured immensely. We all had question marks about him after the United game, and then again how Crystal Palace targeted him after the United game, and that kid has been brilliant. And it's not an underestimation. The one thing I have to say between this game and the Everton game, and the second half of the first leg, that should put to bed the idea that we can't defend. And the other fella that needs a bit of praise here as well, for the amount of abuse that he's gotten, and for most of us thought his career was dead after when Matip got back into the team, is Lovren. He's put in
been brilliant,
3 immense shifts, and do you know what I mean? Like, and it should be called out because he was brilliant tonight. Again, one mistake, that dive in with Sterling.
It was a bit silly.
Was silly, but after that, he hasn't put a foot wrong for the whole game, apart from the one that the chip onto the bar.
That potentially was going in. Look, we rode our luck a bit at the end of that first half. You had that one which hit the post, and then shortly after they have the goal disallowed, which is is controversial enough. I think it could have gone either way, and I was very relieved to see the flag go up, and even more relieved that there wasn't a sort of a consultation and a potential still awarding of the goal sort of thing. So, look, Lovren, you got to give credit to him. Like, I think most Liverpool fans had kind of written him off earlier on in the season, and probably realistically, without bringing in Van Dijk, he probably wouldn't be where he's at now. But by having that Colossus, the leader,
leading from leadership.
He's able to ably assist, So
he's able to get on with his own game. He doesn't have to think about what the person beside him is at.
Yeah.
Because he knows the person beside him is fucking A-OK 90 minutes of the game, every game.
Absolutely.
And that makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
Could go back to like Ferdinand and Vidic.
Yeah.
Ferdinand was the ball player and Vidic was the aggressor, as they'd say.
The other bit is Oxlade-Chamberlain puts in a great shift tonight. Of the 3 midfielders, I thought the other 2 were a bit... if you're going to look at the whole team, right, I thought across the whole team, the 2 average positions tonight were Wijnaldum and
looked leggy.
I thought Oxlade-Chamberlain was definitely the fresher of the 3, and he was definitely the one that looked the only one capable of getting around the pitch. I couldn't believe at some stages how slow Wijnaldum looked when tracking back.
Very lethargic.
Genuinely looked very lethargic.
Shocking.
Looked like he was running in porridge. Looked like they gave him Lucas's boots.
Who was this?
Wijnaldum.
In the first half?
In the second half.
Okay.
Because the one thing I remember, there was one point in the second half where Firmino outsprints him to go back
win the
and
ball back.
to win a ball back and
Yeah.
turns around and absolutely crucified him.
That's where he could have got the second yellow card
Yeah.
as well, potentially, and he is digging out Wijnaldum in that,
Yeah.
phase. You know?
Like the level of effort, and let's move on to the strikers, but the level of effort that those forwards put in tonight is off the charts.
Yeah.
We said it at half time, the first half, Mane and Firmino were basically midfielders.
Yeah.
Salah was the one and clearly I'm still convinced Salah is carrying that knock because normally he drops in to help out with the defensive work. He was staying up. Yeah, he was just occupying the centre back space.
We had the defence, we had the attackers showed up, and we had this sort of at times massive vacuum in midfield. That's kind of the way it was playing out. At the end of the day, the three lads up top have got us the win, haven't they? Mane's presence and run into the box, Salah scoring the goal off the back of it, Firmino with it. I mean, that second goal. Let's talk about that second goal. I mean, the finish on it is brilliant.
We haven't talked. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just outrageous.
He made a noise as well. He went, ha, ha. Well, he put his away.
And it's even better that it's Kyle Walker. He took the ball.
Oh, yes.
It's a horrible, snivelly prick.
But that's twice now.
Yeah.
Because the first goal, he nicks. Firmino puts his foot through it, and you could see the best. I'll remain the highlight of this whole game. Forget the goals and bashing everyone, and forget the first leg and killing them, right? But like just Kyle Walker's face as Firmino
In the first one,
Nixon
when he passes it to Salah.
I'd say it was the same as his face was planted in the grass on that goal there for that.
But Steve, an awful lot of people out there have said that Firmino wasn't a natural number 9, and at the start of the season, they also would have said that Morata was going to score at least 20 goals, and Firmino.
Mentalists. So only crazy people would say stuff like that.
Down to the cycling.
No, listen. On this very podcast, a number of weeks ago, I admitted I had got it completely fucking wrong, and as I said, and it's there in fucking WhatsApps and whatever else, my gripe was Firmino wasn't clinical enough in front of goal. For all his hard work, he spurned chances and gave the ball away too much. Yeah. He has improved massively. Nobody can disagree with that. I didn't see it coming. It has come. I'm fucking thrilled. I'm delighted. We have an amazing player for our system, and we've got an amazing front three. And now what we need to do in the summer, we've only 8 games left maximum this season. Yeah. So that's 8 games for this group of players to see that out, and I really hope they achieve something by getting to a final and maybe lifting the cup, whatever it might be. And then we get on to the point whereby this group of players has to be broken up and it has to be improved upon, and that'll come in time as well. And that doesn't mean Firmino, Mane or Salah.
Tell you allegedly at the moment.
He is.
Yep. Don't know.
So are we.
Don't tell
Who's more important? Think about it, people.
Yeah.
Think about
What's
it.
Klopp going to say?
Boom.
Opal.
Diamond Opal. I don't know who that was from any of us. None of it sounded like that. So, hello, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Good.
Would you like a beer?
Anyway, enough racism, lads. We don't tolerate that sort of crack. Although it wouldn't actually be racism.
No.
Yeah, it would be maybe slightly xenophobic, or if Neil had his way, nationalistic.
Yeah.
Possibly patriotistic.
Patriotistic.
But anyway, let's move off party political broadcasts and back onto the match.
And so, lads, my brain is freezing a wee bit, but does that not end the De Bruyne? Actually, I will say, look, he's more Allah than Salah these days, isn't he? Let's be honest about it, isn't he?
And we had Jesus opening the score.
You know what? I just want to fucking cut the pod there. Nothing to do with actually worried about what people think. It's not getting better than that tonight. It doesn't fucking matter. That's as good as it gets tonight. Wrap it up. He's more Allah than Salah. It's just that simple.
It is like that toy ends the who's the best player in the Premier League this season debate.
Of course it does. Yeah, De Bruyne unfortunately was nowhere really to be found in either game, and Salah has had a massive impact on both of them.
And struggling in the first game. Struggling tonight. Wasn't even at 100%. We don't think anyway.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know if he was at 100.
Right. Are you ready to praise Salah?
I think most of our fan base are ready to convert and praise Salah.
I know, yeah. I think it's going to be a religion in itself.
Until he goes to Real Madrid.
I know.
We won't discuss it. We'll leave that for another day.
Oh.
Let's go to what a few people are saying here,
well,
because we are getting interaction from people that are watching.
Good.
Nigel W001 said, so fucking happy with the win. Second half was much better, which none of us can disagree with. How did you think Milner played?
Me personally, I didn't
Probably
think
the second best of the three midfielders, wasn't he?
Yeah, and
Wijnaldum
that's not
was
saying
that
much
bad.
for Wijnaldum. Like, my biggest concern about this was that trying to get Milner, who's 39, to play 3 games in 6 days,
I was amazed he played Saturday.
and he looked tired tonight.
Yeah.
Barry Tucker just said 13.5 kilometres covered by Milner tonight. That's serious.
That's not bad,
That's
though.
serious trekking.
No, but
Well,
he
you haven't even done that this week, and it's already Wednesday or
Like, and-
Tuesday.
and that was on 4 legs.
Yeah.
He's not playing Saturday, I thought.
Yeah. So
He
Green
might
Street.
go on the Grand National on Saturday, actually.
Green Street 55 said Arnold, my player, who stands tall for the big games. Yeah, listen, I know we slightly covered it, but that young lad over those 2 matches, it's fucking immense. Like that's a huge amount of pressure in quarter-final. And we're not a Liverpool side that is used to getting to quarter-finals anymore. It's a long time since we've
And
been
he's up
that
against
side.
one of the best young
Yeah,
players in the wing,
Absolutely,
in the world,
absolutely.
like on the wingers.
Sané's been in great form
Yeah.
all season. And
Sané has arguably been the best player that City have in the second half of the season. De Bruyne has had a fantastic season across the whole thing, but Sané has come alive over the last 3 months or so for City and really made a difference. And Trent has nullified him there.
yeah,
2 legs.
he shut him down.
It's going to be interesting now how Klopp manages the whole Klein coming back and Trent over the course of the next few games.
A big shout out to Klein for his attempt at making a tackle with his head.
Yeah, did you see that?
Any
Just
fullback
bailed
that
in.
makes a
Not
tackle with his
bother.
head,
Not a
it goes
bother on
straight to the top of my list of fullbacks. I'd even tackle with me head.
Yeah, it was
He
superb.
takes penalties with them as well.
I think what you'll see is Klein come back in this weekend.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. You know, Klein wants to go to the World Cup as well. I
Yeah.
think if he gets, I think you could see Klein possibly getting 4 of the next 5 league games.
League games.
I think you could see Trent playing the next 3 matches up to the final, because we're clearly going to get there. And I think that would be a fair. I think you'd see 1 league game and 3 Champions League games, and probably 4 games for Klein in the league, and that gives Trent that break.
Yeah.
So he's not under
But both fully fit and flying, who would you take?
Klein.
Would you?
Yeah.
Ahead of,
Yeah.
ahead of-
I think there is down the line. I think Trent is becoming so good, right? Would I have him in over one of those 3 that was in midfield tonight? Arguably, I would. I would have had him in there. He's learning the defensive side of the game by playing right back, right? But his passing and his ability to go past players,
Was he not a midfielder for the youth?
Yeah,
he was. And,
He
then,
was.
and then wasn't it?
Inglethorpe, I think, was it? Or
Inglethorpe suggested that he should move to right back because he'd have a better chance of getting to the first team.
turns out he was right.
He was.
Yeah.
No, Alex.
But
man.
to be fair, if you look at Trent, he probably still is a little, even though he has, gained some muscle and whatever else, he probably is still a little bit light for a central midfield role. Now, listen, it all depends. You've got very small, sort of slight players playing in those sort of roles. But I think for us, we're such a small team in midfield anyway, as it is, that putting them in there might be a little bit too much.
Look, we've got a massive amount out of him this season. His development is how he's advanced through the course of the season is.
We'll be back.
It's invaluable, isn't it? You know
Just
what I mean?
Of course it is, absolutely. Listen, if you have it next season whereby you've got Trent at that level or possibly better, and Klein back fully fit, that's what a side who challenges for the league has.
Yeah.
City aren't there worrying about which of their centre halves are fit. They just want all 4 of them fit, so that they can make changes whenever they need to. So I think that's the problem we've had for so long, that we've been so used to only having one good player at best in every position, that when that one player was out, if 2 players came along, it had to be a him or him situation.
Well, we've been used to it every time we've come to February, we're out of all competitions. We're done with the Cups, we're done with the Champions League.
So there's
And
no
we're just
rotation.
There's no rotation. We don't need rotation, but now...
Now we need
forward,
rotation.
Now we need
We'll just
everything.
go with the 12, thanks.
We need all the players.
Yeah, absolutely.
I suppose the concern is that, after that showing tonight in midfield, we've got Henderson to come back, but looks like Chan's out for the rest of the season. So, we are
Forever.
we're really light. We are really light. I know there's only maximum 8 games left, but it is a bit of a concern.
Yeah,
that
it is.
That it will just be either the semi-final or the final would be just a bridge too far.
But you know what? It's sometimes situations like this. It was a situation like this that saw Trent come into the squad and get a run.
Yeah.
There could be somebody, and I don't know who it is because I
Woodburn.
haven't watched it. No, well, I think Woodburn still.
He was on the
carried it.
bench tonight.
Was he?
Yep.
Sorry, okay. I didn't look. I didn't even look at what our squad was for tonight. But yeah,
Be
maybe
nice for
maybe
him
it
to
is
get some
Woodburn.
minutes
Be nice for him
over
to
the
get
next
minutes.
few
Like
weeks.
and for a kid that's been talked up a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
And being very patient.
Yeah, and delivered when he's played for Wales, let's say, and even delivered when he's played for
Klopp's
us as
been
well.
keen to try and play his successor international level down as
Yeah.
well, hasn't he? So
Yeah.
it would be good if we could get could get to see him over the course of the next few weeks.
One of the things that people have been putting to is let's all laugh at Coutinho.
We have all the money, thank you.
All the Coutinho money has got us into the semi-finals.
Yeah.
All of it.
Played great tonight.
He played great tonight. Remember all the lads at Christmas who said that their squad wasn't strong enough to get to the semi-final? Like Gav, and couldn't deal with it.
You know what? I stayed out of that the other night, and I'm staying out of it tonight.
What does Lucas used to say? I like you.
Well, to be fair, up yours, Coutinho. Oh, Barcelona's nice this time of the year.
And they're going out.
They're
He
going
doesn't
out.
even get to watch Champions League apart from the telly.
I have to say, fair play to Suarez. Suarez said he didn't want to play Liverpool in the next round, so he just didn't bother scoring tonight. Yeah.
Well, man, Louis, thank you.
And we can get to play. Messi was looking at the game and looking forward to playing against Liverpool next year as a Man City player.
Yeah, great.
And not winning in April. The one thing that people are talking, Pep is fuming supposedly, and Souness is having a massive go at Pep on
for getting himself
TV3.
sent off, sort of thing.
Yeah, but not just that. But like the one thing that's there, and it's the same thing that happens all the time. Since Pep has left Barcelona, is that his teams have fallen off a cliff from April onwards. Right, he won the league at a canter in Germany with Bayern Munich, and the team fell off a cliff after that, and they got knocked out of the Champions League at quarterfinals and semi-final stages. Right, and the same thing has happened now at Manchester City. 2 seasons on the spin, because they went into a terrible run of form towards the back end of last season as well. And it's like, if I was a City fan, I'd be saying, that's great. They're moaning. They are giving out saying he's a great manager. And Andy was saying it last week on the pod as well, right? But I'm not, so hopefully they can fall off a cliff from September next year.
Well, this is it, isn't it?
Nice,
I mean, obviously they had that league sort of wrapped up weeks ago, and the fact that they've not really had to play kind of in a pressurised situation for a few weeks. You know, they've been found out like 3 times in 6 days now. When a bit of pressure is being applied, you know. I still have no idea how they capitulated against United on Saturday, but basically
Pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Once the pressure comes and they're kind of in the spotlight sort of thing, bad things seem to happen to them.
The one thing they're not talking about is outside, like the likes of Gabriel Jesus, the Sane, Sterling, not Gundogan, Laporte, who they've just signed, Ederson. They aren't used to winning trophies, and that's the spine of their team. It's the one thing that nobody's picked up on. And
neither are the fans, and neither is the club as a whole. And I didn't see it myself, but I know you have seen, the bus being welcomed in, if that's what you can call it. Like it's going to take a long time for them to kind of, get the sort of the European pedigree, get that mentality that they need to get through these, through these big European ties, because. Like that.
Look who it is! Shawty FC in the gas back!
Get fucking in there!
Hey! Some idiot Shawty FC.
Yeah, big
What's the crack, yo?
Come on, Shawty, we're scared of Mike there. It's still good for you not to
He's at the sprinting from work all the way.
I'm not even gonna lie. It's like something out of a film. I was passing by his town. Was there? I says,
here, let me out.
"Just lads out there, mate."
Shawnee, who would you want in the next round?
And fuck them, any of them. There's no point. Yeah, last 4 now. Take what you're given. Fuck it.
And bash any of them.
To be honest with you, I'd rather avoid Real, because Real have a 2 legs that are serious bleeding animals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never know. Sevilla could fucking throw Bayern at that.
Yeah.
That's a mad scene. I was in Sinnets watching it, and the Barca game was on there in the background. There's a fella standing there, says like, "Barca are out." Says, "What do you mean they're out? They're 4-1 up." Oh, they're getting beat 3-0.
Mental,
It is
isn't it?
amazing,
You joking me? I
Absolutely
says,
no one would have seen that coming.
"What about the boys though?"
Unbelievable.
Great, isn't it?
Fucking hell.
I mean, people give City.
I think we're actually a bit muted tonight. I think we're a bit muted
People give
tonight.
City
Do you know
a
what?
far bigger chance of turning that around than Roma.
It's like
of
we
turning
had
Barcelona.
them on a rod. Now, admittedly, we were shite the first half. But
Yeah.
the second half,
Second half were outrageous.
we done a job on them all with two legs.
Proper job.
Bar Van Dijk switched off for the first goal. I don't know what he was doing, looking for the foul.
Yeah.
Fuck me, man.
Yeah, and he was lucky as well with the Sterling one where he got in behind him.
I think Sterling should have been sent off, though, no?
I don't know.
What?
Do you mean for the
Oh,
dive?
He kicked out. No, he
Oh,
kicked
kicked
out
out.
and kicked Virgil in
Oh,
the
I
head.
didn't.
Is this when
That's
Van
what
Dijk
Van Dijk-
got
When
Van
you mean when he went
Van
over
Dijk
his
got-
back?
when Van Dijk got-
Hang on though,
Sorry.
it's very hard not to kick Van Dijk.
That ref is.
His head is
Yeah.
huge.
That ref. Do you know what? When I seen at half time, Pep had to get sent off saying this ref's going to give them nothing in the second half.
Yeah.
Because he's the type of ref to say,
Yeah.
I'm
It's
not
any more than what he done.
I'm
What
not
did he
going to
do?
be bullied.
But
Yeah.
a lot of
At
a lot
half
of the
time, Pep
European-
runs out onto the pitch trying to pull the players out of it. But City had a gang of fucking wet the beds. It wouldn't surprise me if United won the league, for fuck's sake. Fucking shite bags.
The European refs are like that. I mean, the first leg, the ref didn't stand for any of their shit when they were doing things.
Lads,
so.
we're into the semi-finals of the Champions League, but I'm sick we drill at home to Everton on Saturday. I'm fucking gutted. It's an absolute disgrace with the squad that we have. Being the cheek of us being the last four in Europe.
It's 2005.
Give it
all
Ingsy.
over
Give
again,
it Ingsy.
I
Give
know,
it
seriously,
Ingsy.
though. And Wijnaldum and Chamberlain in the second half, they just took so much fucking pressure off
We
the
were
boys
the
at the back.
pressure with Ronaldo at all.
I thought he was brilliant in the second half.
Oh,
Man, the
It was the fact that
first half he was on a
London
bleeding.
Porridge.
But the thing
Go
is,
slow.
like you look at players like De Bruyne, Silva, Bernardo Silva, even.
Yeah.
They're gonna make you look shy. It doesn't matter who.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
they're gonna tear lumps out of you. But we are just so organised.
Yeah, and that's
And many times did we just step up
and just leave Sané offside.
Sané
He must have been
offside.
offside 10 times in the
Like,
second
yeah.
half.
So many
And Klopp
times.
moving Firmino out wide as well in the second half. Walker didn't know what was going
But
on.
here's the thing then, does that...
He doesn't know what's going on most of the
Walker
time.
was because he wasn't getting any change out of what the Mendy and Laporte were winning everything against Firmino. So he put him out the other side.
Yeah.
And Walker was gone.
What do I do here? Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, here's the thing.
Klopp
Though,
was
does that
handled
put
brilliant.
does that put to bed the idea that Klopp is just a rock and roll football manager with no tactical
Over the
nous?
last two legs, it'd be mad to
You know
say
what I mean?
otherwise.
Yeah, he's
The
done,
second
he's
half
done
at
an
Anfield.
absolute job on him.
The second half at Anfield and then today, like.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
then when they were three at the back at the start, because I was at the City game in the Etihad
Yeah.
in September,
The 5-0. Yeah.
and it was an even enough game.
Yeah.
But they had three at the back that game. So I remember Danilo saying, "Is Danilo playing centre half?" And he'd Mendy on the other side, and they murdered us. But I just fucking what a performance.
Come here. Looking at this now, we need 3 wins to secure top 4 football.
Yeah.
Top 4 football to secure Champions League football.
Top
we
four.
do the top
Okay,
4
top four.
footballs.
The top 4 next season. There's not even any. There's 8 games, 6 games. The top 4 football, and then a semi-final of the Champions League. Like as seasons go, I said at the start, my shout at the start of the season was quarter final of the Champions League and top 4 to me was success this season. Does this, even without winning a trophy, right? Does this surpass it for you, Sean?
Obviously, like when we're in the semis, you'd love to go on and win, but like to be in the last 4 in Europe, and deservedly so. Like every game we've played in the Champions League, like Porto smashed them 5-0, come home, held them to a 0-0. We smashed City over 2 legs. We've done a job in them. It was 5-1.
Yeah.
Like I know
Yeah,
people
yeah.
are saying City didn't take their chances. We didn't. We made them look naive. They literally played the same pass for 2 legs, hoping for it to work.
Yeah.
You know, that they were so one-dimensional. But look, to finish in the top 4 again comfortably after only playing in one real competition last year, and then secure like a Champions League to be in the last 4 in the Champions League. It's hard to say. It's hard to say that there's no
I
progress
remember-
being
I
made.
remember-
Right, can I just one question for you? Do you think you picked the right year to move over to Ireland?
Just raising
Probably
bollocks.
And I've got to go to a wedding on Champions League final day as well. So that
It's actually
that
cheaper to
rules
get
things
flights to
out.
Vegas now than it is to Liverpool. I
Is
seen
it?
someone put that up.
Is it,
Yeah.
For Champions League.
for the boat, like whatever way the boat game's for.
Yeah.
Ryanair just had to hiking them up.
Listen,
3
boys,
ways.
we'll be on a coach. We'll be on a coach.
I'll
in
swim
Liverpool.
if I have to, and I can't swim.
my dad has an 8-man inflatable dinghy in Wexford.
Yeah, we'll take
Yeah,
the rip
we'll
over.
I'm sure Ted has something in
Yeah,
the shed.
Ted has a caravan that'll float over, not a bother.
Has to have 2 outboard motors for us to get away.
I remember when I went to the Champions League games last time we were in it. So what was that? 14, 15. I remember coming out of the Madrid game Ronaldo had scored, and I remember thinking to myself, like, how far we had regressed when it come to being able to live with teams in Europe like that. And I thought to myself, like, considering we'd won the Champions League in a few years prior, and we'd been in the final again, I was thinking to myself, we've regressed so much.
Yeah.
It's going to be such a mountain to climb to get back into a kind of a scenario where it'd be a semi-final, and to think that we've actually got there so quickly, it's fucking brilliant.
Do you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
What stood out for me tonight was when City got the first goal. They did smell blood, but they knew.
Second minute.
They knew straight away. If we pounce on this, they can easily just play a ball down the outside and they're in. You know what I mean?
On that, right? Looking at the lack of a second goal from City in the first half, right? The number of opportunities that we give away in that first half, it is knife edge football, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not that it's criminal. Like, you're playing against probably one of the best attacking teams in Europe. I know they're missing Aguero, but they are quality going forward. Because you're saying Sané is one of the best potential young players in the world. Could get up there to Hazard's level and going on. But they are going to create chances. But it's how resilient are you to hold out against that? And Van Dijk, as you were saying, and Karius.
Lovren.
Like, as we were saying, and Lovren, like, how good has Karius been since Christmas, you were saying?
Karius distribution. Do you know, I read a stat in the first half. The first half was terrible. Karius made more passes than any one of our players. He didn't misplace one of them. They were like his distribution just took so much pressure off throughout the whole game. Like, and he got some stick for it. And I'll be honest with you, Jamie turned around and said when we saw Coutinho and brought in Van Dijk that we were a better side without him, and we fucking are.
Yeah.
Because if you had a Coutinho in there running around tonight, 4-1 up, we wouldn't have been as organised the back. And BT alluded to, I don't know whether you could see it here. Before Karius throws Van Dijk the ball, him and Robertson are like, fucking relax. The two of them are actively relax. It doesn't need to go now.
Yeah.
So, on the other hand, the Karius, he's quick and his distribution is excellent. But if you can just manage to get that into his game where he needs to be quick and when he needs to slow the game down.
That's experience.
That's
Can I just ask
maturity,
you, do you know who the 40th president of the United States of America was?
I'll have a guess. It wasn't. It was before Bush.
Was, yeah.
What Bush?
Was it Ronald Reagan? Anyway, what I was going to say there, such cunts, James. Don't mind them, James. What I was going to say though was, if a game like tonight had happened under Benitez, we'd have been talking about actually a Rafa masterclass. Even the way we were torn apart by Milan in the first half of that fucking Champions League final in 05. Yeah. Okay, they created chances. They got we got a bit of luck in the first half, but over two legs, we have, as Shawnee said, done a proper job on them in terms of nullifying their threats. Yeah. And that's massive for me, I think, because Klopp had, in one way, shown himself to be a little bit naive in the way or the team. Maybe that wasn't down to Klopp. Maybe it was him trying to get a message across, and the players were so riled up and so mad to go and score goals that they didn't know when to flick that switch and just cool the jets a little bit. Maybe they have that now. Maybe that little bit of game maturity.
Is that where we missed Henderson tonight?
Yeah.
To kind of manage the game.
I think possibly so.
Move us around the pitch.
I think we always miss a fully fit Henderson. I'm not saying he's the best midfielder in the Premiership, far from it. But he gives you that little something. He gives you something that James Milner also does give you, as much as Paul's head would be exploding if he's watching it. but James Milner gives that to you. Okay, as Phil said, you can't get it out in 3 games in 7 days anymore, and that's fair enough. But if you need those sort of players, you need those. They're the Michael Carricks of a team.
Yeah.
Carrick done it for United. In the last few seasons when they were having good spells, you need that in a side. And I don't know why I'm like Ricky Bobby here with my hands.
I didn't shit the bed.
There was a plan to talk about the Bournemouth game. I can't give an hour. The tactics board actually just
Jamie will look after
so
that.
If you want to preview the Bournemouth game, some fucked up in your head, right? This is just a love in for that. The fact we're in the semi-final of the Champions League. The tactics board will cover it off on Friday with Jamie and Al and Danny and Steve Brown. So don't worry about that. And our predictions for the Bournemouth game is we're going to win. Exactly. Shawnee, what were we going to say?
Like, we didn't shit the bed at any stage of our boat legs. And the first half, it was evident, like, there's pressure on here. But we didn't. The shape always stayed the same. Nobody went wandering. I thought Lovren had his best game in the Liverpool shirt tonight.
He's matured. I think we've
Not even
matured
that.
everywhere.
Like, people come on about the Diamond game and the scoring the header, but tonight the amount of blocks and flicks he got onto shots that I only seen in the replays. Bernardo Silva's shot in the first half come off Lovren's head.
Yeah.
He was throwing himself in front of everything.
She blocked the shot as well from.
He was, and you know what? There was one. Trent was brilliant again tonight. Thought Trent was unbelievable again tonight.
He was.
There was once or twice he was caught,
Yeah.
and whereas in the United game and in the Palace game, the other centre half didn't get over. Lovren, you can see he knows this is in his head. Bang, he goes and just cuts Sané off.
Yeah.
So
double up on him.
Cue ball asks there, and I'm not sure if any of you know, lads, are yellows scrapped after this round now? Going into the semis, that was something that
There's
was
purple
spoken.
cards and green ones. For the semi-finals.
No, is it a clean slate
I
now?
think
Because
it's a clean
I heard
slate.
him saying
That's
something
Jay,
about.
actually. I know who that is.
Say
Yeah.
something
Okay.
about
That's Jay,
someone being on a yellow card.
Yeah, I
though,
think
so
that
why
might have
would
been if they got it tonight that they were missing
Gone.
the
I
next
see.
round.
Okay, yeah.
But
Yeah,
I think
they
maybe
got-
going
yeah,
into the
yeah,
semis
yeah.
now.
Yeah,
they're
this-
going now.
this-
Like,
clean
was
slate,
for a
yeah.
few
Start
years
again.
ago,
Yeah, I think it's clean slate now.
Clean
Okay,
slate now,
good.
yeah.
I thought-
It is, yeah.
well,
Just
We got a lot of
rest the
yellows,
rest the players in the final. I think in the semi. I think the game after the semi we have in the league is probably West Brom away.
Right.
So I'd rest the boys in the semi-final and play them. Just make sure the league is wrapped up. We're not 10 points clear of Chelsea and fourth, and we can't afford to be resting our players.
Look at him. He's like that.
Fucking John West
Building-
over there.
That's only been building up since 11:30, about 7:30
Anyway,
PM.
boys, deservedly the better side over the supposed best side in Europe over
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
games.
Look,
We
we've
skilled them
beaten
and we still
City
had
3
bars.
times since Christmas, so we
Yeah.
must be well and truly.
Are
in
we
their
second
heads by now.
favourites now?
Well, it depends. I think it depends on tomorrow
You have
night's
to look
results.
at Bayern already.
Bayern.
Right.
Bayern. Hang on a second. We talked about this the other day in the WhatsApp. How many times have Bayern won the fucking the Champions League in the last 40 years?
But that's
Twice-
fine.
but
yeah,
twice
that's
in the
fine.
last
If
20.
we get them if we got them in the final, then another bottle job potentially. You know what I mean?
Do you know? Come here. Do
Well, what I'm
you
saying
know? Jurgen Klopp has only played in one Champions League final, and do you know what team he lost to?
Yeah, Bayern.
All right, just
Ah,
and do you know
That was a
do you know-
shite Dortmund team.
And do you know?
Not like this Liverpool side.
Do you know who was manager of Bayern at the time? The fella who's managing the team at the
You're
moment.
picking
that comes at
He was
Bayern,
also
so-
he was also the only Bayern manager to win the treble of the
Sevilla are capable of turning them over.
Absolutely. Listen, I do think though people are
It would be the most Liverpool thing ever
Yeah.
to end up in the Champions League semi-final
With
with a
Sevilla.
Sevilla.
With Sevilla. With
And you know
Sevilla
what,
watch the finals from
Arsenal
home.
could actually get a harder draw in the Europa League semi-final. They could get Atletico or Leipzig or something.
It'd be our
I
luck to
prefer
get,
to be playing Barca.
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be our luck to get Sevilla and then fucking lose to them over 2 legs and be watching the final at home.
On it, right, with Real and Bayern, like the one thing I'd say, and we keep talking about tonight, and the European pedigree that lives in the club and continues to breed, and that always something for the players to take into the big games when they go. Someone like Real Madrid, and like this, I know they've had a bad league campaign,
Yeah.
but their Champions League campaign has been stunning, right?
Yeah, it
and
has.
Ronaldo, for all his faults he's had in the league, he's been unbelievable.
He's going to score more goals this year than he ever has.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and it's like, if I was looking at, of all the teams that are left, that's the team I want to get in the final as opposed to the team I want to get in the semi-final,
Yeah.
because I think we struggle to get we struggle to get past them over 2 legs.
Yeah.
But you have to look. Are they looking at us? Is Bayern looking at us?
No,
no,
I don't think
Madrid
so.
have that. Madrid put themselves on this pedestal.
Yeah.
No, they're
And
right
they
to.
have
They've won
the
it
likes
10
of-
times.
They have the
12.
likes of the
12.
likes of Ramos.
Fuck.
They have Modric. They have Cruz. They have Ronaldo, Marcelo. They're all born winners. If you're going to beat them, it's in a one-off game.
And the same goes for Bayern. But like they're going to look every team.
Fuck Bayern.
Every team that's in the semis, any team that's in the semis, Real are not going to want to get Liverpool.
No, absolutely
I
not.
don't think so. That's what I'm saying. It's
No.
the teams that don't want us.
And Bayern,
No one wants us.
Bayern won't want to get us, right? Like no team will want to get us in the semis.
Do you know what? Even if I can't get tickets for the match, I'm going to get the ferry over. And if it's Bayern, Real, or Roma, I'm going to hockey an 18-pack of Copperberg off that team bus going into the ground. If I end up in the Nick for him, I'll take the bullet off.
We're in a day trip, we should.
One of the good jokes.
Yeah.
Buff.
We
Yeah, with a Gavin Doyle mask on.
We'll have to get you like a custom-made wife beater.
Yeah. I'd be like Rab seeing this, but just hopping bottles off the side of the bus.
It is going to be mental when that
Yeah.
comes on.
Oh, stop.
I mean, the opposition coach to one side, but when the Liverpool coach comes along, it's going to
Hopefully, you're waiting for our players to make us pay behind closed
Hang on a
doors.
second. Did you? We looked at it briefly.
Oh
earlier.
my
Did you
God.
see the welcome that City got?
Yeah.
It's absolute. It's
It was actually like a
disgusting.
welcome tour for X Factor. Not really
It was-
called X
I disagree with that whole.
Rachel, not a dirty.
People get excited for X Factor. He was there going, coming off the bus now, Sergio Aguero. I think they were all specialists. To be honest with you. I don't know what was
It
wrong
really-
with them.
It really was that, you know, that gift or the meme that was going around of the fellow with the banjo just on his own in the City Stadium. Here's the terrifying welcome City are gonna have.
City.
Yeah, it
City.
literally was just Jesus.
And the best thing about it is, do you know what? As
There's
soon
a
as
lot
I seen
of
them
that.
waving plastic flags around before the game, I said,
stop.
I
That's
can't.
what does
What I don't understand about that club is the fans and the support that used to be there when.
It was
It was
main,
Main
road.
Road,
Yeah.
And where have they gone to? It's like they've literally just gone. Not going to that lap. Not going at all. And
I
that's
know,
it.
it's like they've just completely lost interest in
as
the
soon as
whole
it went
thing,
1-1,
you know?
the ground emptied out.
We were saying that 78 minutes there was empty seats even down beside the touchline. Like,
But are you, Ray, are you thinking that maybe the fans that saw them come up through it all, rather than actually getting a boost from the fact of all the money coming in, maybe that was great for the first season or two, and then it was just like, actually, this is just a merry-go-round. This
they're
is
just buying a league.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think there's just obviously a big part of their sort of historical fan base, which that it just doesn't do anything for them.
dead.
The fact that they've, well, yeah, I suppose there's a few then, yeah.
City's greatest ever players.
Jesus
City's
Christ.
greatest ever players were in the lineup tonight.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
That's
they love the, you know, they love the cult hero like Sean Goater and all that sort of stuff. didn't
Uwe
they? Like,
Rosler,
Fucking
They did.
one shot.
look,
What a
they,
show.
Georgie Kincladze.
they kind of almost prided themselves on being that kind of
Shit team.
gritty, shitty, underdoggy type.
Yeah,
Gary Flitcroft.
They want
What a player!
It's like they've lost. It's like they've lost the
their
true
identity. It'd be
yeah,
like if Everton weren't shite.
basically.
Yeah.
No, it's the exact same as everything.
that was a great point.
Just
at the
loads of
weekend,
money.
wasn't it?
Superb. Big team.
I have to say,
Give it easy.
thought when I saw the team that lined out was gone, I'd happily take a point here. And even going into it, it was a game that I would have happily taken a point, knowing that we were resting players for this match.
Yeah. That was like the most acceptable sort of.
Why the fuck
Point
we
you
talking about
without-
that game? You just
Oh,
smashed the
that-
back axle out.
I think it was the wine gab up again, to be honest with you.
It was an acceptable point, like in the context of what's going on now. Like this is how much. Like it's crazy that the derby was so irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like it was like I just can't get my head around how much that fixture
It was
means
like
so
yin and
little.
yang, wasn't it? I didn't
Yeah.
give a look.
I-
I literally woke up on Saturday morning
I was watching
and I
the
just
game and I was
put the
like
game
going
on,
through
whereas-
the emotions as much as the players were.
Yeah.
spent the last 2 days shitting myself about
Just
this game.
quick question for you: what sound did you make when Salah scored?
I think I'm at the breaking my phone too, actually. You know, the thing was, I'm not joking, I was in Sinnets and there was a United fan beside me, right? Anyway, when I heard the crap he was talking, like, he was literally, when Jesus scored, he was going around fist pumping, right? But he didn't need to be a genius to lip read what I said to him anyway. And I'm just walking out and I told John, I goes, who just getting the draw? And he goes, we're not in the draw. I goes, exactly a fucking shy bag now, stick around. No, I don't, that goal,
Yeah.
fucking hell.
The Salah one.
Yeah, just like he little or no impact in the game for little or
That's the noise it made as it went overhead. Just as it just dropped on the ground. So,
Other men is just looking at it going,
you could actually see Otamendi
Oh.
on the middle of the ground
bollocks.
going bollocks.
yeah.
Just as I went
It's
down.
like Father Ted, he sees the car, he looks out and he goes, oh, bollocks.
just a little tap
That's
dance.
it, myself.
But like they're saying, Otamendi's going to get in the Premier League team of the year. Like City had to get a free ride in the Premier League this year. Nobody's had a go at him.
I know.
Yeah.
Arsenal had a go at the Etihad and were done over by a couple of bad decisions. Like we had a go both there, and United had a go second half. Like Otamendi was cap piss when he came into City. He still is cap piss. He's just had all the time in the world on the ball. He's got squeezed there twice tonight, and he gave up the second goal.
What
like,
did
you
we
know.
say the other night when we were watching the first leg? Saying, what does Guardiola not like?
And same with Edison as well. Edison's a bit of a myth, and now I'm starting to see why our man Beck is number one. Yeah, Alisson's going to be
yeah.
Brazil's number one.
Alison Becker.
Yeah. You
Boris
see now.
Becker's brother.
I said it last week.
Love shot.
Yeah.
I have a great picture. I have a great
Becker,
picture of Boris
Allison,
Becker.
Allison Becker.
One thing that did annoy me though, the only negative I could have for the whole game is when Mane at the start the challenge on Otamendi.
Yeah, wasn't
He was
it?
there on his own.
Yeah,
He
Absolutely.
was there on his
It
own.
was never a yellow.
I
though.
never touched him.
It doesn't matter. There was 8 City players around the ref,
Yeah.
and Mane was there on his own.
Yeah, there was nobody in.
There was
his ear.
nobody there
Yeah.
pulling him
I was trying
away.
to pick Milner and fucking when you held him up off the ground because you were bollocks.
The two of them were just lying on the ground going, it's a breather, it's a breather, it's a breather, it's a breather.
That was the
3
only-
minutes
that
in,
was
it's
the
a
only
breather, it's a
negative
breather.
Is that Cardiff?
And followed this team that prized
He
himself.
wants treatment.
This team that prized himself on the togetherness, they should have been fucking. That's the only that annoyed me was I watching them saying, "Wait, like he's
Don't
on his
worry,
own."
when Emre
Especially
Can is
after
back-
what happened the last time.
Gav makes
Chan
it-
is gone because Chan's at the sign of the City,
Yeah.
and he can fuck himself.
Well,
as well,
whoever he
prick.
signed for.
No,
but
he's at the
that's
sign of the
what's
City.
happened.
He's definitely. He wouldn't boy Gafson Formby if he was going to play in fucking Turin.
What
He's
about
got-
what about Everton?
Big money, Fat Sam. The lure.
Great result at the weekend.
Listen, we all know Chan carries a bit of timber. Fat Sam loves gravy. You know what I mean?
And
you know
points
what,
of wine! Points of wine!
We can lash Chan out, but if you said to me today, Chan is going to be in the 11 for the semi-finals, I'd say thank God.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah,
The
Listen,
one thing I
and
will
this
say
is why
as-
we
as-
haven't. This is why we haven't sort of got to the point where it's kind of being announced or
We don't just wanna
suggested,
fuck 'em
'cause
up,
we don't.
yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want him to be sort of totally out the picture.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, and we'll just finish it there tonight, is like I'm just to echo a sentiment from the weekend. As Fat Sam did point out, if this was a Champions League tie, everything would have gone through, not Liverpool.
Good
On
old
away
Sammy.
goals. Good old Fat Sam, you're up the fucking yard.
Yeah, fucking-
They hate him as much as anyone.
Oh, they really do. They despise him.
They
And
were-
that's because he's a despicable prick.
Did Reagan get 4 more years or would Sam get 4 more years? What did you think?
All I know is that the 40th President of the United States of America was Ronald O'Regan. And that's all I can say tonight. We've been the Day Trippers. The Technics Board has set us back on Friday. It's the Tuesday Club. It's in association with Redsbet. You can see it there. We'll have promos and stuff for them coming
Yeah,
along.
absolutely.
There's more stuff coming up on the website. There'll be articles, etc. that we have coming out from the likes of Rupa and from Jamie and from everyone else that's involved.
And Rupert.
And
And
Rupa
Rupa,
as
yeah.
well. And Sean.
Listen, they might be somebody else's, who knows? But you'll get them on our website.
And Sean McKay as well is also writing for us, and we've got a couple of new writers coming along as well.
Rupert.
No, she's already on. She's
Yeah.
already been writing the articles.
Okay.
All right.
The Fat Back
Um,
Four will be on Sunday to talk about Liverpool's 1-1 draw with Bournemouth at Anfield. Another great result. There we are.
And how much
Barry
weight
Holmes
Chris has
actually.
put on.
Barry Holmes actually just said something interesting there. He said Suarez, Coutinho, and Sterling, 3 of our biggest players who have all left, are going to have to watch us in the semis.
Fuck them.
I'm not sure Suarez is a bollocks. He's probably hanging his winner's medal out of his flute, but Coutinho. Coutinho can go and
Just
shoot.
remember, Suarez didn't want to play against us, so he just didn't score tonight. That's why I've got total respect for Suarez. Sterling was really upset tonight at the end of the game, which was hilarious.
You just see, he was standing there just going like, how did they beat us?
I know.
He
He's
couldn't
good.
rub his
Better
eyes
than
with his
you.
little
Yeah.
T-Rex
Yeah.
arms.
Yeah.
I was wrapping up. Fuck off.
Give me the ball over there.
Hang on a sec. Where was it? So anyway, this is the Tuesday Club. It is an association with Redsbet.
I like the fact that I've kept my arms in the T-Rex
I-
position.
I
I
was
don't
going to
know why
say.
that is.
That dude, that look.
Bye, everybody.
I was going to ask you why you adopted a Jordan Pickford. But
So I'm always close enough to wipe the drill out of me.
tonight you've been watching and listening to Ray Dicko Dickinson. Beside me, of course, is the bequiffed one, Stephen Daly. And either side of us, we've got the Lawsons.
The Lawsons twins.
Who will soon be turning up on their own show on the Trippers
Yeah.
Network.
Lawson
We get the
family.
whole Lawson family in.
Yeah.
And we walk up the mountains and we have the chats of a Sunday. The Sunday roast with the Lawsons. Anyway, you've been watching as I said, the Tuesday Club. Thanks for watching. Spread the word. The podcast will be out for those who couldn't watch in the morning time. And big thanks as ever again. So good night. God bless. Safe home.